Mute. So you got my money?
Hello?
Yeah, there you
go. Oh, Jesus. Man, we're rusty.
Welcome
rusty
back.
over here. We're back. Man, I don't think I've ever muted my mic. I don't even know how that happened. Whatever. Maybe these headphones. I've had these headphones for kind of garbage. Welcome, guys. How we doing? Sammy and Mike back. Kind of a special edition episode. We've kind of been quiet lately, but you can't be quiet when it's March.
Tourney time, baby. Tourney time.
If there was a time we were going to win some money, this is it.
This would be the one.
Yeah. And you know what the best way to make money on? Underdog Fantasy. That's where we're going to be hammering all our picks. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get some action on sports. It's Underdog's fantasy game and their pick'em game. Just pick high or lower on your favorite or least favorite players' stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. Use the code 10K and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. $100 by Underdog. Once again, that's code 10K on the Underdog app or UnderdogFantasy.com to get your first deposit doubled today. Mike, you've been having good luck on Underdog lately.
I have. I had to warm up the college hoops pick'em entries. We had the Big Ten tourney over the weekend and put in a couple entries. And the championship game, I hit a nice little 3-legger for a 120. And now I have some funds for Thursday. So I've been looking already for some of the ones on these first couple games. And there's a lot out there that I like. So that's good news for me.
What are those called again, Mikey? When you hit like a 3-4 legger?
Oh yeah. The Green Goblin, baby.
The Green Goblin, that's right.
I love that.
I love it so much.
And I love it because whenever I always ask them, what's this called? And then I love because like it's not always me, but someone will send the fucking Green Goblin guy from whatever that is, Spider-Man or something. Oh man. I don't know why I love it a lot though.
It's awesome. Yeah. When all 3 of those bars go green,
the best.
Nothing better. Nothing better.
Hard as a rock.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it. March Madness. A lot of controversy on who's in, who's out. I don't know. It's tough every year because you see a lot of teams snub that people want to get. I've been hearing a lot like Seton Hall. I'm not as big of college basketball as most, but hear about a lot of that. And then you hear about teams that suck ass like Virginia getting in, all this stuff and all that. And I don't know, but then you got all the small teams and everything. People sometimes don't want them in, but they're what make the tournament kind of the tournament. You got the St. Peter's of a couple of years ago making the run, the Chicago, what's the old lady?
Loyola, Fairleigh Dickinson. I mean, that's what makes it great. It does. But like, I don't know. It's frustrating though, because it feels like the field just isn't up to the standard that it should be. And honestly, we talk about the Power 5 in college football. We have the Power 6 in college basketball. Who is the 6th conference? Like, honestly, I thought it was the Big East, but according to this selection committee, it's the Mountain West. 3 teams from a Power 6 conference. I know we have the Pac-12 moving out, so it's simple. Like, you would think they're the one going away, but apparently we're just folding the Big East on its own.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's an eye raiser for sure. I think the Big East got screwed. I think no Seton Hall, no Providence, no St. John's. I mean, that's 3 teams right there that I think had a far better season than you could argue 10 to 15 teams that got in themselves. So it is what it is. I just feel like the committee really dropped the ball on that one. I could have seen St. John's or Providence themselves really like make a run. And for them to like get like a 3 or a 4 seed in the NIT, I mean, it's just kind of garbage. But I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. But you definitely hate to see it, especially I think Providence had like 4 quad 1 wins. They beat Creighton in the tournament by like 7, and then they don't get a bid. It's just, it's too bad, but it is, I guess.
I think you got to take, if you really want to complain about it, you got to take the at-large bids out of basically. If you think these conferences hold more legitimacy, whatever, you know what I'm saying. At the end of the season, like they deserve more. Creighton going to
possibly,
sure. maybe
Nick.
Nick Morford, maybe,
yeah.
But then give them like automatic bids, like almost like an election. You get the electoral votes. Give the Big Ten, you guys get 4 teams, whether that's the four teams of the tournament, or you want to just have the tournament mean nothing, or have it other some way. But yeah, you get 4 teams. Yeah, Big East, you get 3 teams. Mountain West, and like it sucks because you're going to have those teams that still miss it, but it doesn't matter. Less people are going to be pissed if the team from the Mountain West misses out than off the Big East or whatever.
Oh yeah, the East Coast, you're just going to hear about it. Obviously, the East Coast bias is real, and you were definitely hearing about it this year. It is frustrating though. I would have loved to seen St. John's and Patino get in. Providence, they had a great season. Like those two, like I don't know, it just feels right. Could you imagine like if Rick Pitino and Richard Pitino were to have possibly faced off in this tournament? Like,
that'd been awesome.
I mean, St. John's with a Ken Palm of 25th best team, and they don't get in a 64. Yeah. I mean, that is just wild to me. That is absolutely crazy. How that happens. How you can just leave them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Ren's hit on it though with the conference tournament. Sammy, what did you think? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think, and obviously it's a hot take. I totally get it, but I just think if you're such a mediocre team all year, and then you get hot for 3 games in the tournament and win, and then you get an automatic bid. I mean, I get it. I understand how it works. It's been that way for a while now. But I mean, like we saw NC State, 11th seed in the tournament, and they get hot and they win, and all of a sudden they're taking a bid from a team that was maybe 3rd or 4th in their conference, Power 5 conference, and they don't get in because NC State made a run. And it sucks. I understand that's just the way it goes. But yeah, I mean, you got to feel for it. I just don't necessarily think if you win your conference tournament, you should automatically get a bid. I know that's probably a hot take. I know it's like, well, hey, you won 3 games at the end of the year, and so you deserve to be in, the chance for the dance. But I don't know.
It is bold. It is bold because with that logic, you would have taken away a national championship from UConn back in 2011, 5 games, 5 days, where they went, and NC State just did the same thing. Yeah. I don't think NC State is UConn, so you have a point there. But winning 5 games in 5 consecutive days, it'll probably hurt them. It'll probably hurt them in the long run. They need every day of rest. I don't even know if I would practice them before the tournament. They really need all that time to recover. That's just unheard of. I think that those are the only 2 instances I can think of in which of that. But over the course of those 5 days, it's almost a resume in and of itself, though. They beat Virginia, they beat Duke, they beat North Carolina. Like, I think you got to be more mad at those lower level ones because there is a lot of like teams that are 1 win below 500, 1 win above 500. It's like, all right, I get it's only a 16 seed, but Wagner tonight, they're 15-16, and they beat who did they beat?
They just beat Howard.
Howard, yes. I wanted to say Buffalo, but yeah. That's what's frustrating. It's like, yeah, I get that's what makes March great, but like, I don't know, unless it's kind of a side story.
I have more of a problem with St. John's Ken Palm 25 not getting in than I do with the win your conference get in. Like I have way more of a problem with snubbing St. John's than NC State getting in. But I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it's hard to change anything because it's been this way consistently for so long. But some of the snubs this year are outrageous. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty crazy. Well, and everyone seems to respect those Ken Palm ratings and the quad, all those quad wins and stuff like that. The only way I could see him do it too is like put some weight in the conference tournament, but like in the regular season, you get a quad 1 win, you get a certain amount of like points, almost like fucking hockey or something.
Some kind of,
because that's how this committee in theory picks it, right? They pick it off these quad wins and losses, home, away, all this stuff but it's all subjective, right? There's no, you can say all these stats and everything in Ken Palm rankings, but at the end of the day, like the guys on Pardon My Take on Barstool say it perfectly. It's like just like 16 perverts sitting in a conference room at a Sheraton, like eating shitty food and picking teams. Like that's what it is. Like,
I know it's honestly kind of spot on. But that is what it is.
Yeah. We can move on.
Yeah.
Upset alert. First round. There's going to be an upset. I don't know where it's going to be. Seems like even like the ones are sometimes like, I mean, they are. They've gotten beat recently. I don't think the ones popped out to me personally, but you never know. But the only ones that popped out to me are both in the Midwest region. Kansas. I don't think Kansas is very good. I mean, they're good, but and I don't know dick about Samford. I didn't heard them before this, but everyone's on them. And like, but I did know like I'm not real high on Kansas this year, so it's like I could see that one, and then the other one, Gonzaga, and then McNeese State. I guess McNeese State's got some guy that's just awesome, like kind of like not like a John Morant, but like kind of like that almost tiered kind of player. So it's like a guy like him can destroy a season. And Gonzaga, another team that a perennial team. I can't remember. Someone said a stat. They've been in this tournament like it's a crazy amount of years in a row.
Yeah. Like, well, they typically win that WCC, so it's and they are typically a top 10 team in the nation all year. So yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. I just hope there's a lot of upsets. I went ahead and put $25 on every underdog money line in the first round.
Awesome.
So there's 32 underdogs. I probably need maybe like 10 to 12 to kind of break even. And then obviously if I hit a 16 seed, a 15, a 14, a 13, I'm making like for sure my money back. And then every upset after that is, just kind of a bonus. I think there's like probably 10 games I bet that the lines are like almost a pick 'em. But I just had to take the plus money. That was like my scheme. So we'll see how it goes. Thursday and Friday are going to be just so stressful. But,
Question.
Yeah.
So you took the underdog betting wise, not necessarily the seeding, correct?
Correct. So
because that's what like a couple of them, the higher seeds.
Right. Like I think
Okay.
Clemson's a 6 seed, but they were like plus 110 on the money line. So I took all of the Vegas underdogs. Obviously, once you get to the higher seeds, you're going to start seeing the higher seeds are the underdogs, like Longwood against Houston. That's 16-1. That's like a plus 2,200 or something, plus 2,500 on the money line. So, yeah, it's quite ridiculous. It's going to be pretty fun, though. I mean, I really just need one of those like 15 seed, 16 seed to upset for a big payday, and then hopefully I can get some money back. But
I want to meet the guy who bet Longwood.
Yeah, you're looking at him.
Is that AB? AB do that?
Or even Houston. Who's betting Houston at minus 5,000?
I know.
You're crazy.
I mean, I have to take every underdog. It's March. I have to do it.
This is March. Good point.
It is profitable too. Like when you look at it over the last 2 years, I think in a row, like it's hit. Like if you were $100 better, it would have cashed for over $1,000 in profit.
Yeah. So I think I did some research. It was the last 2 years you'd be up a good amount of money doing every underdog first round. And then I think it's like the last 4 or 5 years you collectively you'd kind of like break even because there wasn't any 1 seeds going down, I don't think, in 2021 maybe.
Yeah, because the last 2021 was the Kentucky, or it was Kentucky 2022 or 2021. But yeah, when they lost to St. Peter's. So
I think that was 2022.
Okay, so yeah, those are the last two, because I remember those were the two, that and Fairleigh Dickinson were the two big ones that really swayed last year's, the last couple of years. So yeah, it's a great question. I don't think it is. If you watch them play in the Big 12 tournament, it's like, wow, like this is a shell of itself. And I couldn't even believe it. But I don't know. Like that line was at 7.5 when it came out, and now it could be down to like 3 or 4 by the time they tip the ball off, which is just insane. But I gotta throw out one here. I mean, Iowa State is played unbelievable this year. They just had a great run in the Big 12 tournament. But when it comes to like finding the closest resembling thing to Minnesota sports, it's Iowa State athletics. They are just so prone to choking in every way ever. And I just think 16.5 points is a lot. I would take South Dakota State possibly with the points. I don't know if I can take them to go and win the game, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on because Iowa State chokes. That's what they do.
Hey, Mike, you can hop in my boat if you like the SDSU money line, man, because I'm all over it. And yeah, I mean, I did that for all the dogs, so I can't really pick this game out in specific, but man, wouldn't that be a treat just to start my week off?
That would be nice.
It would be so sick. I really just need one of those big guns to drop a game and just totally choke. But yeah, no, it should be fun. I mean, I think there's a lot of games that I would take the underdog plus points. But with my thing, I just had to do all the money lines.
Right now, South Dakota State's plus 1,200.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this is a juicy bet. Iowa State's 16.5 point favorites. Yeah. I don't see Iowa State winning by 16.5 points.
Yeah.
Especially all those teams that look like, back to Sammy's point on conference tournaments, all those teams that look so good during conference tournaments, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm picking them to go deep. And then you always get burned. And specifically, I'll talk about the Big Ten on that, because the last 3 Big Ten tournament champions, have lost first weekend. 3 in a row. So Illinois, you're on the clock.
Yeah. And this is another one too. James Madison, I could totally see them betting Wisconsin. 100%. I know Cam was saying he likes Wisconsin in his Final Four. I just don't. He could be definitely right. I just don't. I don't see him going that deep. I think James Madison is terrific. I understand you can argue about who they play in the regular season and all that, and it's like kind of a skewed record a little bit, but everything I've seen from James Madison is they are a great basketball team on both sides of the ball. So we'll see. I mean, this is why I love March, right? Because you got teams that wouldn't typically match up against each other in a regular season bout. There's a lot of uncertainty there, and I think it could be. That's why it's so great.
Yeah, I love that one. I also like the over in that game. Not the traditional Wisconsin teams we're used to in the past where they play good defense and just score 60, 65 points. No, this Wisconsin team scores. And James Madison does as well. I think it's 145.5 the last I took a look. I like the over on that one. And Wisconsin looks so good. They look so different than they did to kind of finish the regular season, that Yeah, I could see them making a run, but I really like this James Madison team, and I think that they're out for blood. Yeah, we saw them beat the piss out of Michigan State earlier in the year, and I think that they get another shot against a Power 6 program, and they can take it to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm excited to see what they can bring. I mean, it's like I know it's the first game of the year, but like going to Michigan State and then beating Michigan State in their own barn is impressive as it is. And then having the year they did, I mean, they can play. They can easily play.
Yeah, there's going to be, and I mean that Wisconsin game. No one here is going to take Wisconsin to win that game. No chance. But the biggest upset in this tournament, you guys are gonna roll your eyes. You ain't gonna like it. But it ain't even in the first round. It's gonna be the second round. After Houston wins and after Nebraska wins. I can't wait to see the juicy money line that Nebraska has against Houston. I've brought it up before on this show. Teams like Houston aren't gonna win this tournament. They just don't. None of these weird teams we talked about tonight are going to win the tournament. There's no chance. It's going to be UConn. Purdue's even borderline. They're not even like – I don't think they have a chance because they're not one of the teams. Like, even Kansas, they're a shell of a team. They can make a run. Kentucky, they're not as good as they usually are. They're going to make a run. I mean, and Houston's going to get knocked off eventually. They ain't going to make it all the way. And it'll be in the round of 32. Against the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh, Renz, I have it. I have it on one of my brackets that I have Nebraska in the Elite Eight.
There we go. It's their team of destiny, like I said. And everyone's talking about Tominaga. I told you guys a while ago, he's going to steal the hearts. He's already stole the hearts of the Midwest after the Big Ten tourney. He'll do it to America, too. They're a good team. Fred Horb, he knows how to win. He's a good coach. Watch out for Nebraska. Mike, I don't only have him going to the Sweet 16. But depending on how those other turn out, like I got them going against, I think, Duke in the Sweet 16.
I had them beating JMU. So that's why
that's what JMU, I had them and Duke in a toss-up for that game. And it's like, if Nebraska gets hot, they get like JMU or Duke.
Could happen.
Not that good either.
But yeah, I got to say, for those of you that don't know, Renz was at the game on Friday night against Indiana. He watched them beat the absolute brakes off the Hoosiers. And so he saw the best that this basketball team's played in decades.
Yeah.
And so he's really drinking the Kool-Aid right now, to say the least.
I love it.
And they got smoked by Illinois. I would say, I mean,
they should have won that game.
They got towards the end, the last 10 minutes of that game was all Nebraska just couldn't click. They couldn't figure it out. They just couldn't. I don't know.
Well, Terrence Shannon's not a real human. Like that's not that person is not of the human species.
He's a baller.
And Illinois, they're way overrated in this tournament. They should not be a fucking 3 seed. They barely won every fucking game that big. They could have lost almost any game in that Big Ten tournament.
I'll tell you about Illinois, and I've been watching a decent amount of Illinois recently. They obviously can score. If you give the ball to Terrence Shannon, like you said, I mean he's going to go get his. No problem there. Their defense is all over the place. I mean, they are not good defensively. And that's where I think they're really going to struggle in this tournament. I think they for sure can win a couple of games. But even if they don't do that, their defense is going to let them down 100%. And that's just the way I've seen it.
That's fair. I'd say, because like from my perspective, watching that game on Sunday, AJ Storr absolutely cooked in the first half.
Yeah.
When he was when Terrence Shannon was guarding him, and then they switched. They put the longer Coleman Hawkins on him in the second half, and that's when things kind of turned. Also, that's where it's like you get one or the other. You get Terrence Shannon who plays defense and contributes on offense, or you get Terrence Shannon that scores every bucket and will play zero defense.
Yeah.
They only have so much energy. He's
No, for sure. Totally get this. And I know you guys were talking about Duke, moving on, into that 32s or 16s. I would not be the slightest surprised if Vermont beats them. I think Vermont's really sneaky. I understand Duke, blue blood, notoriously very good in this tournament. but this Vermont team is slept on. Obviously, I took the money line, but even taking the points in this, I'm not sure. I think it might be 12. Vermont is a solid basketball team. And again, I just think they're slept on. I think they could win this Duke game, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, that's just another little take of mine. I think they're good on both sides of the ball, and they've proven that really all year. A pretty good record, very good in the conference, which I know doesn't say a lot, but I think they could definitely be a team that knocks off Duke. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Just that much better for Nebraska down the line.
All right.
It might very well be.
Yeah. What about Mike? Did you say you had underdogs for the first round?
I do. I have
the stats are out, right?
Yeah, stats are out.
So. Go over to underdog. Use code 10K. Get your deposit doubled. Start looking at them now. Do your research. Get in the lab. Listen to Mike. I haven't looked at a single one, and that's on me. But Mike, let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so we got Illinois playing on Thursday. Terrence Shannon, I'm going to go higher than 24.5 points. Seems like a lot with how much he's been averaging, like 30 the last few games, though, on the Big Ten tournament. So I love that. Omar Ballo, higher than 10.5 rebounds. Love that. Playing against Long Beach State for Arizona. And then also another one, Caleb Love for Arizona. Higher than 25.5 points, rebounds, assists. Like it astonishes me every game how he can just. I think for most of the Pac-12 regular season, his was set at like 30 pretty much, and it's just like what. And then earlier in the day, Jackson Robinson from BYU. I'm a little torn on which one I want to take. Either 12.5 points or 16.5 points, rebounds, assists. He did come off the bench for a lot of the season, but he played, about 20 minutes a game. So that's really good. And then, another Illinois one that I missed. Marcus Domask, higher than 9.5 rebounds and assists.
I like that one.
Oh, Kentucky plays Thursday too, right? Yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one of all of them. So that perfect build-up. Reed Shepherd, higher than 8.5 rebounds and assists. I've played this one a lot this year. It's sometimes it's 7.5, sometimes it's 9.5, but it hits. I think it's hit all but one time that I've played it this year. So Reed Shepherd, higher than 8.5 rebounds and assists for Kentucky. Love that.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to have to get in the lab and look at some of those. I'm going to be taking some of those, especially Caleb. I love Arizona. I love Caleb Love. We were talking about a little bit before. I guess we can transition to the next kind of our looking at our brackets, Final Four champions. I think Arizona's got a great path to the Final Four. It looks like a weak section in there, and that, like I said, I don't remember the names of the regions. It's the bottom left. I'll never forget them. But but
yeah, no,
I
got Arizona
have a great
too.
chance, and it's like, I mean, I don't even. I know who it is. So I got Arizona, I got Connecticut, who do I got? Tennessee, and Tennessee. I'm high on Tennessee too. I think I texted you guys earlier this week.
Yeah.
I think Crazy Cam freaked out because they're one of the 9 teams, like good teams that lost their conference tournament. They're not going to win them all, Cam. Just calm down. But who do you guys got? Who do you like to make the run?
Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, there's a few teams here that I find that I found some decent value in. One of the teams in Bama, 40-1 odds on Bama to win it all. I think they can score, obviously, with ease. The defense, of course, worries me. They definitely a bottom half of D1 in defensive efficiency. But I think, man, when they get going, when they start hitting their threes at 40-1 odds, to make a run, I'm going to take that all day on them. I just think they're a really fun team. So that's one team I got. Another one I liked, a 2-seed Marquette. They're 27 to 1 to win it all. This is another number that I find pretty good value. They obviously were a very good team in the Big East. We all know the Big East was a very good conference. So I'm going to take Marquette on that number too. So those two I have locked in. I really like those. Luckily, I'm in Illinois where it's legal, so I've been able to get some of those plays in. But yeah, I was trying to stay away from like the UConns that were, 4 to 1 to win it. Purdue's 7 to 1. It just doesn't seem good enough for me with obviously haven't started the tournament yet. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like reaching for some of those teams that are supposed to, kind of be in the Final Four. I'd rather go to the teams that are really solid, but kind of disrespected in Vegas. So, and then my other one is Arizona, 14 to 1. You were saying it's just kind of an easy path for Arizona. Also, the Final Four is in Arizona. I think it could be some good juju for them. I like Arizona as well.
Nice. Oh, Sammy. So if you're looking for some value on UConn, here's an idea I have for you. And I don't know if your sportsbook has this, but parlay UConn to win the Natty with Iowa women's basketball to win their Natty.
Wow.
And that'll give you the payout.
I haven't been following. Obviously, I know that I was very good for the women's. I've heard a lot of good things about South Carolina. I don't know if you can fill me in on a little bit of that.
South Carolina and LSU. So, like, you have those two. But, I mean, obviously, we're talking about the men's tournament tonight. But, hey, anything's possible with Caitlin Clark's the way I'm looking at it.
No, I don't hate that. I mean, obviously, I think UConn is a Final Four team. No questions asked. They have the depth. They can score. They can play defense. It seems like they can do it all. One bet I don't mind is that Donovan Clinnigan, I think is his name, plus 1,300 for most outstanding player of the tournament. That's one. It's like, well, obviously UConn has to win. But if you don't want to pay that 4 to 1, 5 to 1, and Clinnigan's one of their top players, him at 12 or 13 to 1, I believe it is right now, seems to be like good value. He's easily one of their top players. He's all over the boards. He scores. That seems like a little bet. If you like UConn but don't want to put the 4 or 5 to 1, that's a nice little tidbit. I know Edey is 8 to 1 on most outstanding player, but obviously if Purdue doesn't win, he's likely not going to get that. And I think Purdue's 7 to 1. So at that rate, it's like you might as well, maybe touch it, maybe not touch it. Depends on if you really like Purdue. But
yeah, for the women's side, I didn't realize like South Carolina is a heavy favorite to win.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, it's a revenge.
Is it that heavy?
Yeah, that's why it's like 550. It's like plus 550 for Iowa, and that's why I was like, there's a revenge factor in there, obviously. But like, I'm like, I don't know. I think that they could just, they were so close last year. So
that's crazy. The minus 140 before it starts.
Right? No, they had someone. I forget what her name was, but they had one gal stay back who would have been like a top 3 pick in the draft last year for the WNBA. So. Yeah, that's just a revenge tour of sorts. But, I think Iowa has that same sour taste in their mouth a little bit. And the women's tournament used to be just like chalk, and now there's like a lot more upsets. So, like, who knows? That's where I'd, maybe take LSU, maybe take Iowa there. But I agree with Veach down here. I was going to say New Mexico to the Sweet 16. We're talking about teams that can make a run. Another, I guess, sore spot for Minnesota fans as it's Richard Pitino and Jamal Mashburn Jr. Carrying the squad down there in New Mexico. And I think they could do it. If you're looking at teams that can make a run to the Final Four, New Mexico, McNeese State. I think both of those teams are way better than their seed. And obviously, based on their resume, that's where they're at. But both of them have a chance to go far.
Yeah, well, that game, the line, New Mexico's favored by 2 in that game.
Right.
That's straight minus 135. Straight up. That's a relative. I mean, that's not a bad.
No, it's not a bad.
That's one of my favorite plays.
I'd much rather take the money line at that price than laying the 2, just because
weird shit happens at the end of basketball games, right?
All the time, you get missed free throws at the end. I just would much rather just do money lines throughout the tournament than trying to cover spreads in March. It's tough. I'd rather not deal with it. So
right. So I mean, when we're talking about winning the Natty, I know you guys aren't going to like this pick, but I got 50 in on it, and it could cash over $1,000.
Nice.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Sure.
And they score the bucket they score the bucket like nobody else. And there's just a chance that they could start to play defense better. They played against Auburn and Tennessee towards the end of the year where they showed they can defend. And I don't know, I just like having the coach, but they can score against anybody. Similar to Alabama, what Sammy said there, they will score on anybody at will. And can they defend the basketball? That is a little bit of a prayer, but it doesn't matter who you put in front of them. They're going to get to the hole. So that's what I like about Kentucky. And I do like their path as well. We talked about they're in the same region as Houston, which I think is one of the weaker ones out there. Then you have UConn up at the top that has to go through 3 other conference champions to get to the final.
They got screwed on that region.
Yeah, number 1 overall. Let's put 4 of the top 6 conferences champions in there. Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then they've already beat Tennessee when we're talking about getting to a national championship. So there's something to be said there. Plus, I just think, does anyone think that St. Peter's can possibly recreate what they did a couple years ago against Tennessee? I mean, Tennessee, maybe not St. Peter, but like we're getting ahead of ourselves now. But I think that Tennessee, the way that they stumbled out of the gates in the SEC tourney, and Kentucky did it too. But I don't know. I feel like Tennessee's just kind of been off a little bit when you look at the last month of the year. They had a couple good wins, but then they lost to Kentucky and they lose to start the SEC tournament. They just, anytime they got some momentum, everyone's talking about like they should have been a 1 seed. If they would have won even one game in the SEC tournament, probably a 1 seed instead of sitting at the 2 line. So
I thought it was wild to see, and I understand it's the conference tournament. Both teams are already getting bids, so whatever. But just seeing Iowa State beat the bricks off Houston, man, it was so wild to me. A Houston team that has pretty much dominated all year. What did they have? 3 losses maybe? And to lose to Iowa State by 20 is just wild. So that's one thing. I'm curious to see how Houston starts off throughout the tournament. I mean, how do you bounce back from getting the brakes beat off you? Is it something like, okay, we're just going to forget about that one. We're going to go back to Cougar basketball. We're going to, do what we've done all year. Or is it like we are human? We could get beat and beat bad. We got to change what didn't go right in that game. So I'm just curious to see how Houston reacts. It's a future that I probably wouldn't take. I know what they're capable of, but after getting bent so bad on that game, it's tough to kind of go right back with them.
Yeah, well, they're going to get excited. Like I said, they're not going to win it. I can promise you. You're an idiot if you're betting them.
Especially
there's only about 7 teams that have a chance to actually win.
Yeah,
and it's not all the favorites.
Well, they're going to lose to Longwood in the first round, and I'm going to be laughing. So,
well, I could see them putting like 100 on them. Like their guys, like we're going to really show them. Just exhausted, and then the Cornhuskers in the second round just pick them apart. Oh, I can't wait. Huskers to the Sweet 16. If not farther.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, I'm just really excited. It's one of the best couple days. The first 2 days are by far, I guess not. We can touch on it. I think the first 4 thing is fucking stupid. I hate it. I don't like it, especially the 7-10 team, like the 10 seed game tonight or whatever. And it's a disadvantage for the other team that they're playing, like the 7 seed they're playing, because the other teams have had 2 days to look at their opponent, and all of a sudden these guys they won't figure out till tonight, and then it's like, okay, well, we had 2 less days.
1 day to prepare.
Yeah, then I'm a fucking 7 seed. Why do I gotta? Like, I know why they do it, but it's like, well, it's just unfair to those guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy to me.
Stupid. The first 4 is stupid. Just pick your teams.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, and that's just it, because all of us have shit on Virginia all year. And for them to get in, they're getting, like, I just checked the score right now. You have 14 points. That's it, with how much time left? 30 seconds left in the first half. What are we doing? And it was already bad enough for the committee. But the fact that they let this team in, come on. What the hell are we doing?
Virginia is scoreless in the last 9 minutes.
I could have told you going in. We were talking about, having that extra day or 2 of prep would have been nice. I bet, who are they playing? Who does this team go and play? Is it Colorado? No, Colorado State's who they're playing.
Colorado State.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that plays. Whoever they're playing, I bet you they were already prepping for Colorado State. They were like, there's no chance that Virginia wins this game tonight.
Yeah, who do they play?
I'll find it here in a second.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas was
is
already
another
prepping.
Team that'll never win.
They're already prepping for Colorado State. Yeah.
How do you score 14 points in 20 minutes of basketball and be in the tournament?
This is exactly what happened this is exactly what happened in the ACC tournament too. Like, this is the same way they went out last game.
Here we go. Cam's chiming in via text message. I take it back. Virginia with 14 first half points. That's not a tournament team. Like I said, Cam was weird. Cam, if you're watching, you were weird this week. You didn't know what you were talking about.
Cam's got a new girlfriend. He hasn't been focusing on the basketball lately. Basketball guy Cam.
It's a good take.
It's a good take. Just distracted by the.
Yeah, 14 points is deplorable. Bad. I don't. That's just so sorry. I don't know how you could be one of the top 68 teams and score 14 in the first half. Crazy, man.
So this is where, like, the opposite of, like, betting helmets in college football. I think I'm gonna just, like, bet against those teams that kind of feel like they got in on name alone, like Virginia.
Yeah.
Who is another good example? Like, I'm not going to bet against Michigan State. Don't you worry. If you read your calendars correctly, the months go January, February, Izzo, April.
I got
like Duke. I'm against Duke. Nope. Get them out of here. Sammy talked about Vermont earlier, but I think I'll have them win the first game and then get the doors blown off in the next round.
Yeah, I can tell you.
We talked about Kansas, same thing.
Clip this. I'll tell you right now who's going to win. It's either going to be UConn, Purdue, Arizona, or North Carolina. I almost promise you.
Okay.
It'll be one of those. Houston's not going to win. Tennessee's not going to win. Auburn's not going to win. Iowa State's not going to win. Maybe Kentucky if they get hot. Maybe. But that's it. It's those 5 teams. No one else will win.
No, I like Arizona a lot there.
Yeah.
They got an easy path, but they just it just seems like they are a really deep team, and I just think that when they get going, hard to stop them. Pretty solid defensively. Caleb Love playing good basketball. And I think they have like 2 or 3 Europeans, and all of them can play. So it's a solid team. I like that, no problem. And you can get them 14-1. So definitely not a bad bet to place. I like them a lot. I have them winning it all. So
yeah, I like that. Beach is on Colgate, the toothpaste team, I suppose. I don't know. My book says they're 13.5-point underdogs to Baylor. I don't see them beating Baylor.
Yeah. I think Long Beach State is probably the worst of the non-16 seeds. I mean,
but they have the best. The Beach have the best story. Their
They
coach
do.
getting canned and making it through the conference tournament.
Yeah.
They did the broadcasters a favor.
If this is rigged, Long Beach State will win.
They did the broadcasters a favor. They get the 30 seconds to tell that story, and then they can bring it up again when they're getting, blown out by 45 with 2.5 minutes to go. So again, I think the hardest job throughout this tournament is the broadcasters in some of these games, these 1 versus 16 games where it's like, and it's 120 to 61 with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. What do we talk about?
They're talking to no one too. No one's watching.
Oh yeah.
No one's watching the blowout on True TV at 1:30 on a Thursday.
They're just turning on a much better game. I mean,
put in Practical Jokers on, please.
Yes, please. It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited.
Can you imagine if they did that? Like how in the NFL season they would like switch the games because
be able to
blowouts. Like if that happened, or
even if they put in like a mercy rule. Like if you you don't there's not a point total, but if like at any point with under 10 minutes to go in the second half, the team wants to just quit, you can. Yep.
CBS will do that though. Yeah, CBS will rotate through the games. Like if the primetime game, usually it's this Thursday night, the primetime game is not good for whatever reason, and they'll flip another game on to CBS because they need to keep all the viewers on CBS. They're they can't say go over to TBS and watch, Kentucky versus Oakland or Gonzaga versus McNeese.
Yeah,
we need to have the viewers on CBS where they have the most reach.
I've been hearing a lot of good things out of McNeese. Can't say I've seen a game this year, but I think Cam was pretty high up on him. And I mean the line kind of reflects it. It's not that big of an underdog.
I thought it'd be closer to 0, to be honest. So their best player is Shahada Wells, and then you may recognize the name of their coach, Will Wade, criminal from LSU.
Okay.
Criminal.
Interesting.
What was that FBI whatever the FBI probe was on the college coaches? Sean Miller got it. Will Wade was part of it. No one wants to talk about it, but Bruce Pearl was a part of it. All of them should be in jail. Just kidding. No, but Will Wade, I like it. I like it in this scenario. I think this is just the worst Gonzaga team.
They're not very good. They just aren't. And another team that I know a lot of people are high up on, who I also don't believe is that good, is St. Mary's. I know they got a 4 seed or a 5 seed. I just don't. I don't have any chips in St. Mary's. I've actually watched a few of their games this year, and they can go 7 to 8 minutes without being remotely close to scoring a basket.
Yeah, they lock you up. They're what Virginia, for the people of or I guess mid-major teams, they are the equivalent of what Virginia was in 2018 to 2021, 2022, where you're lucky to get to 60 points sometimes.
Yeah.
But like I said, they don't have any scoring capability. So there's games where there's 4.5 minutes without a bucket on either side. So it's I can tell you CBS will not be broadcasting the St. Mary's game. They'll put that one on True TV.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? So the biggest spread I've seen, granted the Purdue game, they don't know who they're playing yet, was Houston with the 24.5. That's the biggest I've seen. Would you take Houston minus 24.5?
I don't touch the one game.
You can't.
I
that
can't.
Game could easily end with 2 minutes to go, and they're
down
1. Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's one of those things where it's I don't want to. You look like an asshole almost any time because they won by 15. Great team win. They did what they're supposed to do, but they didn't cover. Or what happened last year with Fairleigh Dickinson? That was one that I just took for fun last year. I was Purdue struggles on the first weekend. We'll take it for a laugh. They're 22-point dogs. Same thing. It's have a little fun. If we think Houston's the weakest link and they have a hangover, maybe. But I think so much of the bets are going on them to blow the doors off their first opponent because of the sour ending to the conference.
Yeah.
Thing.
No, I could definitely see that. Another one, like we could have a Princeton, Arizona of last season, something like that, like an absolute back and forth game. Hopefully that's not Arizona this year, please God. But yeah, I mean, there's games like that. The Farley Dickinson Purdue game, that was back and forth all game. It didn't look like one team was better than the other. It was just a total shoot where, it's just up and down the court. We get a basket, you get a basket kind of thing. I hope there's some of that. Obviously, that's what makes March. And I'm sure there will be some of that. But also, like the end of the Furman game, was that last year?
Yeah. Yes.
That was just nuts.
Virginia, that was Virginia again. Yeah. Virginia's up 6 with 30 seconds to go, and they can't win the basketball game. Isn't that insane?
Pretty unbelievable. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Thursday, Friday is like two of the, in my opinion, like best days of the year for sports. Obviously from it starts at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
11 a.m. We got like Michigan State. Michigan State is the first
and it just goes all day and night. And it's beautiful. It really is.
I like what? Yeah. Sorry. I was just, you know what I don't mind though? The all day, but there's always like that hour break between like 5 and 6 or like 6:30 when the news is on. I almost don't mind it. Like you almost need it. Like
a little bit.
Maybe take a piss. Get something to eat. Like it's okay to get up and move. I think that's literally like it's like your Apple Watch telling you like, hey, you haven't moved in a while.
Time to stand up.
That's what it's like. Man, there's no games on. It's like it's probably good for me. Like I should probably
it's been 6 hours since I moved.
No, but it's gonna be probably everything that we've are expecting as it is every March. But man, I just hope there's a lot of upsets for my sake.
No, there will be. Stammy, don't you?
Right? I mean, there's gotta be like there's no way I get killed in this, right? I mean, there can't be.
Yeah. So, do they still do that $1 billion challenge, the Quicken Loans thing or whatever? Like the NCAA can't afford to have a chalk tournament. Someone gets a perfect bracket. Come on.
Yeah, no, that can't happen.
But
they're gonna have to call in Tim Donaghy to ref a game and get that
get it all back on the house's side. No, but I was gonna say the another underrated thing about the tournament is kind of like that 15-20 minutes before the game starts, and you turn on CBS and there's just Wheel of Fortune on while you're just waiting for the game to start.
There's like no pregame. They just get right into it.
Yeah, it's like it's Wheel of Fortune, and then just like, all right, and here's basketball.
It's unlike with college football. You'll get 2 hours of the pregame and game of the week, ESPN. Here, it's just like, here's your basketball game, and there's the tip off. So
no, I love it. I'm pumped. I'm only sticking with the college basketball this weekend. I don't have any other bets. You guys got any other bets that you're no golf this weekend, Sammy Stats?
There is the Valspar. Just it's a weaker field when you have the when you have the Players, and the week before that was the Arnold Palmer, and then you go into the Valspar. There's just a ton of players that are taking the week off. Obviously it's not a elevated event. So yeah, there's definitely a few guys in there that are obviously, everyone's trying to get FedEx Cup points, and it's still a PGA tournament. But on a weekend like the one we have coming up here, it's just pretty much third and fourth in my mind. I'm sure I'll probably take a look at the leaderboard every now and then, but definitely won't be placing any wagers with it. And yeah, I mean, it's all basketball, and that's why, I mean, we wait a full year for this pretty much. Maybe you tune in to the regular season, of course, but really March, you got to be locked in when it comes. It's the best time of the year.
What more could you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all those golfers take it off because they're probably all watching basketball.
Yeah. March. It's the tournament. Of course I'm not.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
anything else, Mike? Or you all ball this weekend?
I'm all ball. There was one underdog I forgot to put in here from earlier on Friday in the Wisconsin game. Tyler Wall, lower than 9.5 points. I don't know if you watched Wisconsin at all in the Big Ten tourney. Like he's from Minnesota. He's coming home to play in the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis. Dude was a cone. Like literally did nothing all weekend. Did nothing. So yeah, he's not getting to double digits in the first game of the tournament.
No. I know we're trying to wrap up, but back to Wisconsin. They're a super inconsistent team. Like that Chucky Hepburn guy with the afro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's either like he's
20
awesome
or 4.
or I can't remember which game it was in the Big Ten tournament. He sat like half the fucking game. It's like, isn't
the first game?
Isn't this guy like your best fucking player? Like,
Mhm.
No.
I don't know. Fuck
it's AJ Store's been the guy, and I think he's been taking away a lot of production from other guys because he scored, I think, 20 plus in all of the games in Minneapolis, and then Chucky Hepburn scored like 6 or 8 in the first game, and then he scored 20 in back-to-back games to finish off. It was like, I don't know. So they're all over the place. They get production from all over the place, but I don't know. That's what kind of scares me.
Well, JMU sounds like
JMU.
We're all pretty locked in on that. Love it.
Yep.
All right, thank you, fellas. It's great to be back. Loved it.
Great to be back. What a week we have ahead.
Oh, it's gonna be great. We're gonna be pumping out content for you guys all this whole tournament. We're gonna be pumped. We're just too excited to contain it. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. You probably watch us on Twitter. Hey, Twitter or X. What's up, X people? We got TikTok. We're gonna post more on TikTok, Instagram, reels, pictures, all sorts of funny shit. So follow us and everything, guys. Make sure to go to 10ktakesmn.com. Go read all the blogs. Mike's blogging all the time. I blogged about Uber and Lyft, and then I had to take a taxi this past weekend because my phone died. Ironic. It's great. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Enjoy the brackets or the tournament and your brackets. We'll see you soon.
Good luck.